Inside Out is presented by HTC. This is life. Connect with it. And sponsored in part by Luke Rankin, Rankin & Rankin Law Firm, and by Clark Parker with Myrtle Beach CPAs, and by Magnolias at 26th.
This month's Inside Out, as you would imagine, will certainly put you in a holiday frame of mind. We've got Christmas music. We have a little drummer boy. We've got fruitcake. And, well, no teddy bears, but we will have a discussion on the black bears that are roaming throughout Horry and Georgetown counties. If you're ready, we're going to put you in the holiday spirit with Inside Out.
This segment of Inside Out is brought to you by Clark Parker with Myrtle Beach CPAs, proudly serving the area for over 40 years.
Well, with this being December, everybody's talking about baking. And what comes to your mind? Fruitcake. Well, I found the fruitcake man. This guy makes about 80 to 100 fruitcakes, but he has a new name for them, and we'll get into that right now. I want you to meet Bobby Stubbs here in Myrtle Beach. And Bobby, how did all of this fruitcake baking come about?
Well, my daughter got started in it. And then it looked so simple, I said, well, I believe I could do that. So that's how I got started about 30 years ago.
30 years ago, you've been baking now fruitcake. And you started out just making a couple every year, and now it's become an obsession.
Well, usually about Thanksgiving, I'll pick up maybe 36, and I have cooked as many as 48.
In one day?
One day, that's right.
And this wasn't anything you ever did in a previous life. You weren't a baker. Tell everybody what you've done for a living.
Well, I've electrical contractor, done electrical work, you know, like most people, digging ditches and running wire and that type of stuff.
So this is a whole different realm for you. It's opened up a new door. The creativity is coming out in you.
Sure has.
So this is something that you prepare, you told me, at least 30 days in advance. Tell me what's in this jar, Bobby.
Well, there's peaches, and there's pineapple, and there's cherries. And you're supposed to put your peaches in first, and then you put 2.5 cups of sugar, and then 10 days later you do your pineapple, 10 days later you do your cherries. Each time you put 2.5 cups of sugar in there.
Wow, that's a lot of sugar.
That's a lot of sugar, but then too, as long as you stir it and it makes foam on top, then the sugar is working, it's fermenting. If it doesn't, if it quits that, then you need to put some more sugar to it.
I can see a little bubbling going on.
So on an average, it's roughly around 5 pounds of sugar per jar.
I like already what you said. It doesn't have the traditional, I hate those fruits that are like green and red, and they're like gummy and jelly-like that they put in normal fruitcake.
That's true, but this is out of the can, just plain peaches and pineapple and cherries come in a jar, of course. You know, it's just natural stuff. That's what it amounts to.
Yeah, much better for you, I would imagine, than that other stuff.
It is, and I have given cakes to people that say, "Oh, I can't eat cake because I'm a diabetic." I said, it's as sugar-free as I can get it, except for fermenting the fruit in 5 pounds of sugar.
Oh yeah,
my gosh.
Well, so it's definitely not sugar-free. But you changed the name, so you decided to give it a beautiful, warm, fuzzy name.
Well, it was kind of already called friendship cake. And see, what you're supposed to do is cook the cakes, give them to friends, and also give them a starter, so then they can start cooking.
Oh, kind of like friendship bread. I've done the friendship bread.
That's right. But then people says, well, they'll call you back and say, you know, that cake was fantastic. So instead of me making them, won't you just make them and continue giving them to me? So
it's friendship cake. I know, that's a great idea. And you make little ones too, and that way people aren't loaded down with a bunch of fruitcake. They have just enough to get excited and make their own.
That's right. But very few people make their own anymore. They're relying on me.
You've spoiled them. What else goes into the cake as I taste it? What else?
Okay, we got coconut, we got raisins, pecans. That's basically it, other than just the fruit.
It looks great. I have to tell you a funny story. In 1968, I was Miss Claxton Fruitcake up in Florence County, and I got to give out fruitcake at the parade. And the truth of the matter was, the fruitcakes were about this size. I got to throw
Wow.
these cakes from the parade route where I was in the Christmas parade. I got to throw them to the people. I was so afraid somebody was going to get hit in the head because those Claxton fruitcakes were like bricks.
They were.
And I have to be honest, I never liked them because they had all those jellied fruits in there.
Right.
Oh, but this is much better.
And that's good and moist.
Oh my goodness, this is so much better than a regular fruitcake because you don't have those little jellied things.
That's right. And one thing about this, we didn't know exactly what to do with our starters when we got started, so we kept at least one starter and continued right on month after month after month. Well, after a while, that got kind of old. So I took the starters and put them in the freezer just to give it a try. And they get real gelled, but you take them out for 2 days, let them sit and get back room temperature, and they just go right back to work.
Oh, that is a great idea.
And then the cakes themselves,
They can be frozen?
they can be frozen. And in fact, I've got one in the freezer now that's about 3 or 4 months old, and you can let it get room temperature. It'll taste just like that. And also, I like to keep mine in the refrigerator because when you go to slice it, now see, that was in the container. It didn't fall apart.
No, and it's still warm. You just
Yeah.
took this out of the oven.
I did, just about 10 minutes before you came. But if you don't put them in the refrigerator and kind of chill them just a little bit, they're hard to cut without tearing apart. So, or you can put it in the freezer, take it out, cut you a couple slices, and let it get air temperature, and you're good to go. It's just like it's just been baked.
This is wonderful. So, Bobby, tell me about the starter. This is what you give people when they get the cake?
Yeah, whenever they want to make it, you give them a starter, give them a recipe, and then you use a glass jug, wooden spoon. Try not to use any plastic. And,
Will it eat through the plastic?
No, it won't eat through the plastic. And then you had mentioned earlier you wanted to know how I get them out of the container. Is just take it and turn it upside down.
Because they're so moist, they don't even stick
That's right.
in the container.
Plus, I use Pam baking with flour.
Sprinkle a little bit of flour in there.
I spray it. I spray it.
Oh, you spray it with Pam, and then you sprinkle it with flour.
No, it's already got the flour mixed in it.
It does? I've never
Yeah.
seen that. I got to look for that.
Yeah.
Wow, so it's made especially for baking?
Yep.
Learned something new. Well, I learned a lot of new things. This is friendship cake, provided to us today from my friend Bobby Stubbs. And finally, is there anybody special that you've added to your list this year for Christmas that has never had one of your friendship cakes?
Yeah. I think there was 2 guys I gave one to here a while back. And one of them's his wife's been sick for a long time. And she just loved it.
Well, there's
She
nothing
said
to
it was
not love.
fantastic.
This is so much better than regular fruitcake.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
friendship cake. And that's our topic today here with Bobby Stubbs. And his neighbors and his friends at church adore him. And I can see why. Yummy.
Yep.
Have a piece, Bobby.
Okay. Thank you.
You got it. What a party.
You know, it's very seldom I eat a cake,
But you like this one.
because I always give them away.
Thank you, Bobby, for this great interview.
Thank you.
Coming up next, holiday cheer from the Joy School of Pawleys Island.
Hi, I'm Wanda Howard, and I've known Clark Parker for a long time. Clark has been my CPA for the original Benjamin since 2006. He has proven himself to be knowledgeable, dependable, and available. I consider him to be an integral part of my business success. I even trust Clark for my personal estate planning. Small problems or large, Clark can help you navigate through them successfully.
Clark Parker and Myrtle Beach CPAs, proudly serving the area for over 40 years.
No matter where the day takes me, HTC provides the high-speed internet services I need. HTC delivers faster speeds, 24/7 local tech support, and free in-home Wi-Fi right here to Horry and Georgetown counties. As trusted community members serving up world-class internet service, I know HTC will keep my family connected to what matters most. Because you are here, and so are we.
High-speed internet starting at 100 megabits per second. Call today.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
Welcome to the Pawleys Island Presbyterian Church, the home of the Joy School, and they're going to provide our holiday music for us. I want you to meet the program director, meet Martha, who has been doing this since 1991.
A long time, Diane.
So what were you doing before you ran the Joy School?
I was teaching special ed in Georgetown County Public Schools, and continued teaching in the public school while doing Joy School in the summertime, because it was a summer program. But in 2012, I realized several of the summer school students were getting older. They were aging out of public school, and they didn't have a lot of opportunities in the winter months for activities. So I approached the Presbyterian Church. I said, hey, I have this group of about 20 adults over 21 who were former Joy School summer students. Can we meet here during those months? And they said, sure, you're welcome. And I was like, yes. This is great.
And now this is full-time for you?
Yep, every Monday and Tuesday year-round with the ones who are over 21.
Tell us about the program. You told me these people are your friends.
Sure, after all these years of being together and knowing our families, and all of my children have grown up together with these young adults now, or older adults. So Joy School started out as a program for people with intellectual disabilities. And over the years, we see the area has grown everywhere. Like more people are moving here from all over, and churches are growing, schools are growing. There's just more people, so there's just more of a need to provide programs. And our county-run programs can't really keep up with the population. We do things like music, art, PE, academics, drama, the bells. We have a greenhouse, which the Elks, the Pawleys Island, the Elks group has helped us build and then maintain. Well, and as for the parents too, this is a nice opportunity for them to have a break and know that their child, their young adult, is in a safe place with people who love them and care about them and want to spend time with them.
Other than the wonderful folks here at the church, who else helps to fund the program? Because you told me that your friends who come here don't pay a dime.
That's right. So when Pastor Frank Holzclaw and his wife Gail first started the idea of Joy School, they said it should never cost a child or their parents or any student any money to attend. So the way we get funded is through mainly the South Carolina Knights of Columbus, which is a Catholic men fraternity, the Bunnell Foundation, the Pawleys Island Kiwanis Club. Here, Pawleys Island Presbyterian Church is our biggest supporter because the doors are open and we're always welcome here.
How great.
How great and wonderful, what a great ministry. We're one of their missions. And then many of the other churches in the area from Georgetown up, through Pawleys Island, the whole county, there's lots of churches who will do they'll pick us as their mission or their ministry for the week, or
all funds are welcome.
All funds are welcome, and we greatly appreciate it. So
when these adults come here to the church, what are some of the things that they do on a regular basis?
After everybody hugs and greets each other like they haven't seen each other in years, even if it's only been a week, because we're always so happy to come together, they might have coffee. They might do some arts and crafts. We usually have a craft for everybody to participate in somehow. We exercise or go for walks around the church grounds, and we have a greenhouse outside that we work and plant little seedlings in the winter months, so that in the summer months, when the younger children are here for the summer program, they can harvest the garden. And we have strawberries and corn and cucumbers, all kinds of things that we plant, the adults plant in the winter for the summer to reap the harvest. And then we also play the bells. That's like a big, after we eat lunch, and that's a nice social time for everybody, and then we play the bells.
And you told me that really offering social capabilities here is one of the most important thing for these folks.
Absolutely. Coming together and seeing your friends, even if it's twice a week for 5 hours here at the Presbyterian Church, it just makes everybody so much happier. And then when they go home, a lot of them have cell phones, and they'll contact each other through talking on the phone or looking forward to the next week of getting together again. It's like anyone would want that for themselves, to have a friend they could go see and spend time with.
And they're some of the warmest people I've ever met. When Chuck and I drove up here, everybody rushed out to the car to help us and welcome us, and we feel right at home. Finally, you've got a summer program for younger folks with special needs.
Absolutely. So in the summertime, we are here for 6 weeks, Monday through Friday, and that's for ages 6 and older. So children ages 6 to older with an intellectual disability who enjoy group settings and being part of a program that has music, art, PE, academic, and all the activity, and field trips too. That would be appropriate for them in the summertime.
So if you're looking for an organization that you'd like to help fundraise for, or volunteer for, or support in some way, certainly contact Martha at this number on the screen and help out the Joy School here in Pawleys Island. And now, what do you say? We're ready for some music?
Let's ring some bells, yes.
'Tis the season. Up next, one more song from the Joy School, and you'll meet the little drummer boy from Murrells Inlet, who's not so little.
Backed by popular demand, the Long Bay Symphony presents the 3rd annual Strauss on the Strand. Ring in the new year in classic Viennese tradition. All the great music from the Johann Strauss family, featuring waltzes and polkas, with graceful dancers performing in the traditional Austrian style. Tickets are $25 and will sell out, so call now or go online at longbaysymphony.com. Strauss on the Strand, 2:30 on December 31st at the new First Presbyterian Church in Myrtle Beach.
And now, how about some more music of the season? Compliments of the Joy School of Pawleys Island. All right, so it's the Christmas season, and I went out looking for a little drummer boy. And I found some little drummer boys, little drummer girls, and this man who owns the Different Drum at Inlet Square Mall in Murrells Inlet. So Steve, how did this business come about?
Well, I started in 1993 here in Myrtle Beach, and I just wanted to, I love drums. I've always loved drums. I've been playing my whole life. I played in elementary school, junior high, high school. I was a section leader at the University of Kansas for percussion. And then I played in bands all over the country and ended up back here in Myrtle Beach and opened the store mainly to promote drums and music for kids, to get them into music at an affordable price and opportunity.
And the parents have told me you've done just that, that it is very affordable. And you've even started a drumming circle. What is that all about?
We do an intro to hand drumming class on Thursday afternoons from 5 to 6. It's free. Anybody can come. And we teach them how to play hand drums, the basics of hand drumming and playing together. And then we have a drum circle on the full moon at the Myrtle Beach State Park. And then we also are starting a new moon drum circle here at the mall.
And all of that will be posted on your website?
That's on the website.
So Steve, tell me about drumming itself. What do you feel that kids gain from that? It's more than just learning a musical instrument.
It builds a lot of character with things like self-esteem and confidence, and playing together and listening to each other, and it gives some kids and adults too, but it gives people something to do that they might not find in other things. People that aren't into sports, or kids that aren't into other social activities. It's sort of a different option, and some kids find their own thing in drumming. So it gives them an outlet and brings out their personality.
But I see guitars and tambourines and bells and all kinds of things. So you kind of have branched out, haven't you?
Well, we're the last music store all the way to Charleston, going south. So I have a lot of people coming in asking for guitars or strings or picks or things like that. So we have some of that. I just hang out with musicians. I'm just a drummer, but I do have other instruments for everybody else.
When I arrived today, there were several professional musicians here who have retired to the area, and they love to just come here, hang out, and inspire the kids. I love that feeling.
We have a stage set up. Anybody can come in and play. We have some musicians. One is Bobby Lee. He played with Dolly Parton and the Grand Ole Opry for 6 years. He's in here about every other day, and they come in and play, and other people can sit in and play with them. I have some students that play with them that are having trouble just keeping a straight beat, and they don't care. They have fun playing with them, and he has fun playing with them. So.
Well, let's take a look at some of the kids. Tell me about Dina coming up here.
Dina's a fun student too. She's in her 50s. She has always wanted to play drums, and it's fun to watch her and how fast she's coming along. It's giving her a lot of self-esteem and again, confidence, and she's just having a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with her lessons too.
So you don't have to be a kid, because take a look at Dina. So it's never too late for me. Dina's doing a great job. So maybe in retirement, I'll take up the drums or something similar. So how about in the back room? I heard Noah playing the bells. What's that story?
We have Noah. He plays bells, and he is going to a school that the music teacher quit and moved on, and they came here looking to pick up where they left off. And so we've been working with him and teaching him more on the bells and the drums.
Here you go, bells of the season. Now, those bells certainly put me in the holiday spirit. But you've got a second Noah, and there's a great story here.
Noah, I call Noah Mohawk Noah. Noah came in and he has a lot of fun. He comes in for his lessons and I look forward to all the students, but he comes in and just gets a kick out of playing up here on the stage, and I'll play bass with him. And Noah has autism, and I think he's found drumming to be his thing.
And you're going to also meet his mom here because she has something she wants to say to other parents with autistic children.
This is a great and wonderful outlet for him. I mean, it's a wonderful situation. And I would aspire any parent that has an autistic child that this is something that is really a wonderful thing for them to do.
Thank you, Noah, and thank you, Tracy. Well said. And so I also know that you're very community-minded, and you've done a lot of wonderful things for the community. I was pretty impressed with your October fundraiser for cancer. Tell me more,
Thanks.
Steve.
Yeah, we have a great opportunity here at Inlet Square Mall especially. And we had a Halloween party with the costume contest and silent auction, and we raised over $2,000 for cancer research. And we also help with community bands. And one in Georgetown comes in a lot, and we also help with churches and schools. And I just think it's good to give back to the community since it's given me this opportunity to be here.
Oh, I can tell you love every second of this. But one more thing. I heard that you and Santa are in cahoots. Mm-hmm. Tell me about what you're willing to do on Christmas Eve to help Santa.
Well, this is a workshop, and if you come in at night, there might be some elves in here working, setting up drum sets. But we, with our connection with Santa Claus, we have it arranged to deliver drum sets to living rooms Christmas Eve.
Wow. How about headsets so that the parents won't go nuts?
Oh, yeah. Well, 9 out of 10 love drums. The 10th is a neighbor. And besides the neighbors and parents, we have others that don't quite love drumming as much as I do. So we have electronic drum sets available, and those are real popular.
And so that means that when the kids are playing, the kids wear the headsets and no one hears it but them?
Mm-hmm. It's just a tapping sound.
Wow. Santa and his elves were smart creating that, weren't they? This is Steve Pruett, and it's The Different Drum, and it's an Inlet Square Mall in Murrells Inlet. If you're ever bored, just stop on by and see the magical things Steve is doing here in our community. Thanks, Steve. Happy holidays. No lions, no tigers, but there's plenty of bears around here. The topic is up next on Inside Out.
Honey, I think I'll adjust the thermostat. It's getting a little cool.
Mom, you don't have to get up to do that. I've installed the HTC Connected Home app on your phone. See, you can adjust the temperature from anywhere. Okay, Mom, I've got to go. Thanks for house sitting. Make sure to lock the door and set the alarm.
No problem. I have everything I need right here.
HTC Self-Install Kit, $0 with 36-month monitoring commitment.
HTC, this is life. Connect with it.
This segment of Inside Out is brought to you by Magnolia's at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food, where Mama eats.
When so many people are out buying little teddy bears, I thought it would be fun to do a real bear interview, and I found a wildlife biologist to do just that. Meet Kayla Brantley, and she happens to be from Georgetown. Did you always want to grow up and be a wildlife biologist?
Diane, I grew up knowing I wanted to work outside. At an early age, my grandfather instilled the love of the land in me, so I knew right then that was my calling.
So then how did you filter over to bears rather than some other sort of wildlife?
So back in 2008, I had an internship opportunity. It was when I was a student at Horry Georgetown Tech in Georgetown. I was a student enrolled in the Forestry and Wildlife program, and the opportunity came to intern with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. I didn't know that it was bear related, but that summer I assisted a grad student from the University of Tennessee on bear research, and that's kind of where I got my bear background from.
How about so far this year? How many bear calls have you been on, Kayla?
Well, I don't necessarily go on every bear call. I can handle a lot of it via phone. A lot of the calls / sightings come in via internet, email as well. I probably, actually, site visits have been on about 25. We're probably up to about somewhere between 60 and 80 calls, sightings. That includes roadkills, nuisance calls, and just general sightings that come into us that's reported.
You had just told me that a couple of weeks ago you even had a bear kill down at Carver's Bay area in Georgetown, and I know you hate getting those calls, but sadly bears have nowhere to go with all the development.
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest challenges that we're facing today is the loss of habitat. Increase of development are pushing these bears out of their natural habitat into areas that haven't seen bears in the past, and two is populated areas, so more and more folks are seeing these bears. It's not necessarily an increase in bears. It could be the same bear that, you know, the 4 people within the same neighborhood are seeing. You know, he's just roaming through, and 4 different people are seeing him, so therefore they kind of think it's you know, a dozen or so bears, when in actuality it's 1 or 2 bears.
So this is not really the time of year we see bears. You see more in the spring and summer, but yet in our area they don't hibernate.
That's right, Diane. So the bears here in South Carolina, along the coast that is, they don't really hibernate unless the bred females. They will hibernate. They'll kind of hunker down latter part of November, have their young in January, and then they'll emerge the latter part of March, early April. But you know, with the weather that we have here in South Carolina, it can be 70 degrees mid-March sometimes. It just kind of depends on the weather and the temperatures. Now, it's not uncommon to see bears year-round, but the most active period for bears are during those summer months. So May, June, and July is when the activity really increases. It's breeding season for bears, so they're out roaming. They're covering some ground. And like I said, that's when we get most of our sightings, road kills. And two, you know, the early part of the summer, so coming into May when things are starting to green up, berries are growing, that's a great food source for these bears, so they're out looking for food as well.
So let's talk about what we do if we see a bear, because you know, one minute you hear someone say run as fast as you can, others say stare him down. What should we do?
I would not run. If you see a bear or come, you know, within a close encounter of a bear, just stop where you are, project your voice. That way it kind of makes them feel like you're a little bit larger than they are. And I would suggest, you know, maybe putting your hands above your head. Don't turn around, never put your back to a bear, but just kind of back away slowly. But by projecting your voice, like I said, it makes them feel like you're larger than them. Now, there are 2 kinds of behaviors that bears exhibit. You've got aggressive behavior and just normal behavior. So the normal behavior is they're going to be curious. They're going to stand on their hind legs just to get a better view of what's out in front of them. The aggressive behavior that we don't want to see is the snapping of the jaws, the stomping of the foot, and kind of the lowering of the head between the shoulders, like insinuating like a bluff charge. That's what we don't want to see. But otherwise, I mean, I tell folks to think of them as just like a large raccoon. They're only out there for easy food, and that's one of the main reasons why people are seeing them so frequently, is because there's trash cans out, there's bird feeders, just easy food for these bears.
There's even people with compost piles in their backyard that sometimes attract bears.
Yeah, so attractants for bears can be anything from bird feeders to garbage cans, compost piles, grills. During the summer months when people are grilling, especially around 4th of July, you know, I suggest burning that excess grease and sauce off the grill, because if a bear's in the area, he will, you know, tip that grill over just to get into the grease. You know, pet food, people who have pets outside that may leave a barrel with a bag of dog food out there, they'll get into that as well. So the main thing is, if you know a bear's out there in the area or you have one roaming around in your neighborhood, just secure that, remove those food attractants, and that bear's going to move on.
So when someone sees a bear, Kayla, should they call the department? Is that important?
That's another great question, Diane. So we don't necessarily have to take every call on every sighting. I would direct them to our website. On our DNR webpage, that is a report a bear sighting form. If you can go on and fill that form out, that form comes directly to me. And if I need any other further information, I can contact the reporter or the one reporting the sighting. It's just a way to kind of eliminate the multiple calls.
This might be a crazy question, but there are a lot of crazy people out there with guns. What happens if they try to shoot a bear?
So it's illegal to shoot a bear out of season. You have to have the correct permit, the correct license, hunting license, and there's a specific season for bears. So a bear has to be taken within that season with all the others that I just mentioned, the permit, the tag.
So I guess we all know that it's a black bear that we're seeing. Is that the only type of bears we have around here?
Black bears are the only bears here in South Carolina.
Tell me about the size of bears you're seeing.
So our male bears are typically anywhere from 200 to 350 pounds. You know, obviously sometimes we may get our hands on some larger bears, a little bit smaller bears that may be younger. And our sows or our female bears are anywhere from probably 120 pounds to close to 200 pounds. They're obviously smaller, half the size of our male bears.
And other than the stuff that they're eating in our yards, like you said, the compost and the grill stuff and the bird seed, what are they out looking for?
So their diet is composed of 90% of nuts and berries, wild nuts and berries out in the woods. They may also forage on some grubs and these dead trees that may have fallen out in the forest, on the forest floor. But mostly nuts and berries. Sometimes around these more agricultural areas within Horry County and Georgetown County, you can see where they've been out in a cornfield or wheat field, you know, small grains, things like that.
So compared to the upstate, what is our bear population?
So our bear population is smaller than upstate. Going off of limited DNA data that was conducted a couple of years ago, it's estimated that our coastal population is about 350 bears. And that's you know, not just here in Horry County. That's composed of Georgetown County, Horry County, a little bit down into Berkeley County, Williamsburg County. It's just kind of those several small coastal counties that, you know, has habitat for bears.
And what about the coyotes that are roaming the area? Do they bother the bears?
No, they don't bother the bears, but I will say on the coyote note, a lot of small animals that may go missing, house animals, that is, cats, dogs. A lot of folks feel like these bears are out there eating their house animals. That's not the case. In these neighborhoods where cats and dogs are missing, coyotes would be the first suspect versus bears. Bears aren't out there to eat these small animals.
So finally, in wrapping up, if you don't want to see a bear in your yard, certainly clean it up. You don't want nuts or berries out there, but you don't want bird feeders either.
That's right. So if you know there's a bear in your neighborhood or you've seen one in your yard and you have a bird feeder up, I suggest removing that bird feeder for 2 weeks. That removes that food source, that easy food source for these bears. Once you remove that food source, these bears are going to move on to another location. Now, if this bear's been coming 2 or 3 nights in a row, he knows that food's there. You remove that food source. Don't be alarmed if he comes back at least 1 or 2 more times. He's checking that area to see if that food is there. After probably about the 3rd time of there not being any food, he's going to move on to somewhere, to another location. As far as feeding, it's illegal to feed a bear or entice a bear with food. That's another issue, is we don't want these bears to relate humans and food together. It'll end up being a bigger problem down the road.
And I happen to know, before we wrap it up, Kayla, that you have a 2-year-old at home. It's going to be your best Christmas ever. What's she asking Santa for?
It is. I'm looking forward to it. The only thing she's asked for is lipstick.
What?
Lipstick.
A 2-year-old, and Mama hardly wears any.
True.
Does Grandma wear it?
No, not really.
Dad's not wearing it.
No.
Okay, good. So that's going to be a great Christmas for you. Thank you so much for being with us, Kayla.
Thank you.
And everyone, remember, there are bears out there, and it's their habitat too, so beware.
Next year's quilt show at the Horry County Museum will be bigger than ever. Stay tuned. Remember when Mama loved to cook? Well, now Mama eats at Magnolia's, and you should too. She knows that Magnolia's brings the Anderson family farm straight to the table. There's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch buffets, plus a salad bar and banquet space available. As for the price, Mama says she can't cook it that cheap. Magnolia's for good old Southern comfort food that'll have you coming back even before the cashier says. Y'all come back. 26th Avenue North and Ocean Boulevard in Myrtle Beach.
This segment of Inside Out is brought to you by Luke Rankin, Rankin & Rankin Law Firm. Experience you can trust.
Are you ready to find out what's happening in 2020 at our beautiful Horry County Museum on Main Street in Conway? Well, Walter Hill is here to tell us all about it. As the director, you've been in this helm for how long?
I've been director for a little over 10 years and been with the museum over 15 years.
It's amazing. I've watched you grow in this position, and it is truly what you were meant to do. This is a passion for you.
It certainly is. So deep roots in local history here. Love it. Love that I have genealogy here, and love that I'm able to share the exciting history of Horry County's past with everyone who comes through our doors.
And I think it's neat, too, that you're tied into both Georgetown County and Horry County. You live in Georgetown County, a 30-minute drive up here every day, but you say that you have the best of both worlds.
Certainly. So I've got this Georgetown history and Georgetown rural living, and then the booming metropolis that is Horry County and Myrtle Beach and Conway are places I get to come play at every day.
Speaking of playing, I'm excited to hear the news about the quilt exhibit that you did every year at Ocean Lakes Family Campground. It's moving to the museum.
That's right, Diane. So 25 years of Quilt Gala, and in our 26th year here, we're going to change things up a little bit. So we've hosted it over at Ocean Lakes Family Campground for a little over 20 years, and it's usually been a 2-day event. But this time, we're bringing it to Conway. We're going to host it here in the museum, and it's going to be a 30-day event. It'll be throughout the entire month of March, where we'll be inviting people to come in for free and see quilts that are historic quilts from our collection, as well as contemporary quilts from local quilters. We'll have not vendors this year, but we will have lots of other programs from other museums, quilting how-tos, textile arts, you name it. So be checking out our calendar for 2020 on all the great and exciting quilting and quilting related things taking place in the month of March this year.
So if someone out there wants to enter a quilt, it's time to start quilting.
They need to start looking at that. So one of the other changes we're going to do this year is, instead of having multiple categories, we're going to have quilts that are within a certain parameter, and that will be roughly 20 by 30s. So these will be poster size art quilts, so we'll be able to do a lot more smaller quilts in here. So you have some time now to get in there and knock out a few neat pieces if you want to join up and put a quilt in the gala. It's not a juried show. It doesn't cost to put one in here. We do have an application system you have to go through so that we can document your quilt and make sure we have it here in time to hang it. So check out our website, www.horrycountymuseum.org. Click on the link that goes to the Quilt Gala, and you'll learn more there.
That's one of the biggest things that's going to happen in 2020. But you know, during the Christmas holidays, we all have lots of company, and I always like to bring my company to the Horry County Museum. They can spend hours in here learning and growing and certainly enjoying so many wonderful things. How about that exhibit right around the corner that the kids from Coastal helped you with?
All right, so we've got lots of projects we've been doing with Coastal. We currently have 2 award-winning exhibits up built by Coastal students. One of those is an accessibility exhibit, which is a great idea, where we took items from our collection that the students got to choose, and then they scanned them with 3D technology, printed them out, and made exact replicas of them so that we could have objects that are touchable. So we take items from our collection that typically are too fragile for people to handle and touch. We've recreated them. They have put them together in interpretive panels so that they have audio, braille, they're touchables, of course, and it really is accessible to anyone who wants to come in and really put a hands-on experience with the museum collection.
It's beautiful in there. So what else have the students helped you do?
Well, if you're interested in pirates on the coast, we've got an exhibit about the Carolina coast and the geography that led to pirating here. So there's a history of pirating on the Carolina coast here. And I say Carolina coast because North Carolina, South Carolina, we're right here on that border.
Tied
There's
together.
a lot of pirate history on our coastline here from the very early days. So you can come and learn about that, and that's a project that was put on by the Athenaeum Press through Coastal Carolina University. So it's a student-driven project as well.
We like to remind people that you're, of course, all part of the same family, the L.W. Paul Living History Farm and the Horry County Museum. They're both under your auspices. What's new over there?
So over at the farm, we are celebrating 10 years now. So you're going to see lots of programs and demonstrations taking place out there. I encourage people to check out that website and check out that events, because we've got all sorts of activities. We've got monthly events at the farm, cooking, music, livestock days, harvest days, sawmill days, washing, domestic chores days. So there's something happening out there all the time, and we don't forget, free.
Yeah.
So come out and visit free. So you get once a month a free concert out there, which are all historical, interpretive sort of activities and demonstrations. Then down here at the museum, we've got things happening almost every Saturday. I say almost every Saturday because some Saturdays we have big events taking place at the farm, and we try not to compete too much. But there's things happening on Saturdays at the museum. We call those mission-driven. So remember the museum mission: history, prehistory, natural history of Horry County. So there's lots of things taking place that revolve around the history, prehistory, and natural history of Horry County here on those programs. But we've also got free movie matinees every Wednesday at 1 o'clock in the auditorium. We've got an active adult series, which is really great, because if you're new to this area especially and you want to learn more and make some friends, come down for a social hour at the museum once a month, where we teach you a little bit about the place you live in and meet new people who are interested in these same things. We also have got a junior curators program and a junior farmers program. So almost every other Saturday there's a program for children at the farm and a program for children at the museum. And then we started with museum and farm camps this summer. So if you're interested in bringing your kids and getting them more engaged with what the museum has to offer, at the farm we work with a partnership through 4-H, and at the museum here it's museum and volunteer driven. So you can come out and learn more about the history, prehistory, and natural history of Horry County, as well as the agricultural history in Horry County.
But everybody wonders how you can keep doing this free.
Well, we are grateful that we are a department of Horry County government, and we are funded through county council, and of course we get grants and we get contributions from the public and sponsorships and donations from others out there.
And I just love the room that we're in here. It's warm and cozy, perfect for December.
Absolutely, and it's warm and cozy because we're featuring quilts in here. The textile gallery always has quilts on display. We change those out. These are historic quilts from our collection. So they're going to be different from what you see when you come to the Quilt Gala and see lots of new quilts made by a local artist. But we also love our old-time fashion, right? So here we have got textiles on display that include clothes. Those clothes change throughout the year, so keep coming back and see what else happens in the textile gallery.
And as a shell collector, I really love the exhibit in the hallway.
You know, everyone loves that. You come to Horry County, you can't help but think Atlantic Ocean and seashelling on the beach. So we have a beautiful exhibit that was actually contributed to us by the Grand Strand Shell Club years ago. And it's been so popular, we've never taken it down. We've made it a permanent exhibit.
And it should remain that way.
Absolutely.
How about holiday happenings before we wrap it up?
Well, number one, don't forget, you get to look for some holiday shopping. Visit the museum gift stores. We have two, one at downtown, 805 Main Street, and one at the L.W. Paul Living History Farm, 2279 Harris Shortcut Road.
And
Just a
I've
little ways.
bought, you know what I've bought over there for
Tell me.
Christmas? I've bought jams and jellies, syrup, molasses. I mean, you've got some grits.
Grits.
You've got all sorts of wonderful things in that store that make great Christmas presents.
Absolutely. Handmade items, unique items. Both places have different selections. So we have things here that sort of represent the collections and the experience you might get at the museum. And we have things out at the farm that represent the experience you might have out at the farm.
And you're supporting local people. And you've got a big Christmas tree event.
That's right. So every year, it's grown bigger and bigger each year. We have, this year it will be December the 7th, we'll be having Christmas at the farm. So out there we'll be making candy, we'll be decorating the Christmas tree, the old pine tree with very traditional Christmas ornaments. So we invite you to come out and help us string popcorn and string cranberries and hang them on the Christmas tree. Check out some candy making, which is something that was taking place during this time of year on the farm. Also syrup making and possibly a few other hands-on demonstrations that you'll get to come out and check out. So that's, again, free, December the 7th from 9 to 3.
And that's L.W. Paul Living History Farm, Harris Shortcut Road. So our Horry County Museum welcomes you, whether you have company during the holidays and you want to stop by, or anytime in 2020, there's always something great and free at our Horry County Museum. Thank you for all you do for our community and to educate us as well as entertain us.
Thank you, Diane.
It's more than a library. It's like a recreation center. Learn more. Coming up after this break.
Hi, I'm Luke Rankin. Horry County is my home. I was born and raised here, and for nearly 31 years, I've been helping people. I'm an attorney. When folks need help after an accident, if they've been injured on the job or denied Social Security benefits, they call me. No screaming, no crashing cars here, just a serious offer to help. If you need legal advice or assistance, go with experience. Give me a call. Luke Rankin, Rankin & Rankin Law Firm. Experience you can trust.
As fellow community members, HTC knows the precious value of family time spent together. That's why HTC delivers faster speeds, 24/7 local tech support, and free Wi-Fi. No matter where the day takes me, HTC serves up the world-class high-speed internet you need to stay connected to your world. Because you are here, and so are we.
High-speed internet starting at 100 megabits per second. Call today.
HTC. This is life. Connect with it.
Well, all the libraries around town are decked to the hilt. But today, we are at this beautiful new library for Brunswick County. And I found this gorgeous scarf, which is giving me the Christmas spirit. Meet my friend Christi, and she runs this joint. And Christi, the last time I visited with you, you were at a different location. Tell me about this hot new area.
Yes, Diane, we were located about 1.5 miles from our new location, and we were so busy we didn't have enough parking, so we were offered this lovely new building on Highway 17, and we are now known as the Southwest Brunswick Branch Library, and we're here on Highway 17 with enough parking for everybody.
And HTC, of course, delivers throughout Horry and Georgetown counties, but Christi tells me that more than half of her people who come here are from Horry County. And you know, you're right here across the line, and I can see why so many people want to come here. You've got so many programs. Let's first talk arts and crafts, because when I came into the lobby, the Christmas tree is loaded with all sorts of wonderful things. Let's brag.
Absolutely. We have a stitching group that meets here each week, and they do every sort of handcraft you could imagine. We have quilters and needle pointers, just a little bit of everything, and all of the items that we have are donated to sell in the lobby.
Like, I bought this for $20, so I feel good that I contributed to a really good cause. But I also saw in the lobby magazines and books, and they make great stocking stuffers.
Yes, ma'am, they do. We have magazines available, and those are free of charge, so they're wonderful. We also have a book sale room in the back of the library, and all the money that's made from that benefits our friends of the library. And all the items in there are $1 or less, so there's something for everybody's budget.
I even saw beautiful baby blankets.
Yes, you did, absolutely.
So you can go Christmas shopping here at this library. Tell me about some of the other programs. I think it's really amazing how libraries have become a real hangout, so to speak, for people in communities nowadays.
It is. Our library has become a community center here in Calabash. We do have groups that come in for exercise classes. We have people who come in for taking off pounds sensibly. We also have so many things, Diane, I had to write them down.
Go ahead.
We have a North Carolina writers group that meets here every month, and people from South Carolina are welcome to attend also. We have poetry groups, we have bridge groups, cribbage, mahjong, chess. So any type of game that you play, there's somebody here that will, you can play with. So it's great.
And you also told me that in February, you've got a very special program.
We do every year from February 1st through April the 15th. AARP is here at our library, and they prepare taxes for free. All you have to do is just come. You don't make an appointment. Just show up, have all your tax paperwork, and they do your taxes for free.
A lot of people aren't even aware, Christi, of some of the other things that libraries today offer. I happen to know that, you can, of course, check out books, but you got e-books and books on tape when people travel, and fill us in on those sorts of things.
Absolutely. We have audiobooks on CD that you can check out and take in your car, but we also have e-books and e-audiobooks that you can listen to on your cell phone, on your tablet, or on your computer. So they're very accessible. You can take them with you when you go. And one of the things that we have here that is very popular are our DVDs. Our community loves to watch movies, and we do show movies here at the library each Monday, so you can always come for entertainment.
And that reminds me that if people at home have old DVDs or magazines or books, things that you're getting rid of, guess who will take them?
That's correct. We try to keep as many of the items for the library, but what we can't use, we sell in our book sale room, and those funds go to help buy things we do need for the library.
And of course, this is a big retirement community where you are located, but yet you still have lots of children's programs and a great children's library area.
Yes, we do. We have lots of special programs for children. We have an art cart that families can come and participate and do art projects each month. We have story times, and also in the summertime we have a summer reading program. So whether your children are here or your grandchildren are visiting, you can come in and participate and have fun.
You also bring in lots of speakers, and I'm going to be speaking here today right after this interview. So fill us in on how that works, because there might be somebody out there who would like to speak.
Any local authors, musicians, or speakers who would like to come to the library are welcome to contact me. But we do have a very active online calendar that you can see what our calendar is and come to our events.
And one of the greatest Christmas presents you could get would be a bunch more volunteers.
Yes, Diane. We have a lot of volunteers here at our library that help. They are greeters, they work in our computer lab and shelve all of our books, but we can always use more volunteers.
And so we've got the phone number, and just remember, this is right on Highway 17 as you're heading north and you leave Horry County. You'll see it on the left right across from the farm. Thank you, and Merry Christmas. Have a blessed holiday season, Christi. Thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Inside Out. And from all of us at HTC, we hope you'll enjoy all the magic of the holiday season. See you next year.
Inside Out is presented by HTC. This is life. Connect with it. And sponsored in part by Luke Rankin, Rankin & Rankin Law Firm, experience you can trust. And by Clark Parker with Myrtle Beach CPAs, proudly serving the area for over 40 years. And by Magnolia's at 26th, for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food, where Mama eats.